We are aware there's a lot of disappointment. Previously, harvest was balanced by how difficult it was. Now that crafts are tradable, but we were trading before, right? Harvest power was reduced. We understand there is a call to bring them back, but this isn't possible. This isn't what you want to hear. I tried my best. Well, thank you, Bex. New private window. When is Diablo 4 releasing? Oh, am I recording? Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm back. Kind of. We'll see how much I can talk without coughing. I feel like 90% today, so a lot better. Thank you, everyone, for wishing that I got better on the video yesterday. I feel so much better, and I am very happy to talk about what I've done in the past 24 hours. Did want to start off with a quick little update. GGG made another post last night. We've already seen a lot of people tweet about it. People are unhappy. GGG is quadrupling down, saying that Harvest is here to stay the way that it is. My guess that I've been saying for a long time, basically since they removed it in Harvest and brought it back in Ritual League, is GGG hates Harvest, right? Like, when they first added it to the game, they were like, we're going to break the game for one league, and then we're going to remove it, and then that was, one experiment. And they clearly do not like Harvest whatsoever. I'm actually incredibly surprised that they brought it back, but here we are. My personal opinion is I like more tools, more options. I like to experiment very clearly with a lot of different builds, and GGG has some sort of design plan about balance where they just want to keep things in a very specific way, and they don't really want to embrace like the full funhouse feel of the game, which, I don't know, for better or for worse, that's the way that they like the game. But I did want to spend a few seconds just talking about my build here that you'll see in the background. If you saw the video yesterday, definitely check that out if you want to see the original inception and the idea there, which was Lightning Tendrils / Stormburst / Divine Ire, any sort of channeling, Castwell channeling, Lightning Conduit. And honestly, it felt pretty good for clear. The single target, I did get it in the, I think I was like 6, 7, 8 million DPS, and it was like okay, but there's something about it that it was just like, didn't feel like it was triggering properly. It was a little bit clunky, and I just wasn't in love with the overall feel of it. And I said, you know what? I'm trying to balance non-channeling and channeling, scaling certain types of AoE and really bothering about the shock effect and all that. Why not just lean all the way into the tendies and see what I can do with that? So what I spent this morning doing is fully reworking my build into being just Lightning Tendrils only and just seeing what it feels like. And what you see in the background here is me running a possessed, rolled up Chimera Hydra fight. And with how tanky I made this build, I found it really comfortable and actually really fun. I've now defeated Cirrus and both Pinnacle bosses very easily on this build. And considering how tanky it is, with enough investment, I don't know, maybe there's a chance on some Ubers. Probably not the Ubers where there's a DPS check. I do think the ceiling on DPS here is probably about 20 million, which is like maybe the floor for some of the harder Uber fights. But the fact that I can do the rest of the game very comfortably is pretty awesome. So this build is not done, especially the offense. So I'm going to just kind of leave that on the table. POB will be below, but just remember this build is not remotely done. Everything is in flux. I'm kind of just throwing stuff at the wall. But I did want to go very quickly over my defenses because I'm very proud of those. And I think especially since a lot of people are playing Elementalist right now, there may be some ideas here that can help you out, especially self-cast witches that are feeling a little squishy. So you'll notice here that it says I have 90% estimated physical damage reduction, even with not very much armor. Why is that? That's because I'm using the Soul of Tukohama, which is giving me 9% of physical damage reduction if I stand still for 3 seconds. Well, with a build like this, standing still for 3 seconds is just part of the deal. On top of that, I'm also using Arctic Armor, which is giving me 22% less physical damage taken while stationary. If I wanted to go absolutely overkill for single target at least, I could also use the Soul of Solaris and get 6% additional physical damage reduction. I don't think that is absolutely necessary considering how much flat reduction I have. With my flasks up, I do have 31,000 armor, and I have a lot of headroom there. With just a little bit more investment, I can very easily hit like 40 to 50,000. On top of that, you see that I have 75% attack block and 77% spell block. That's because I'm using glancing blows, so I am taking 65% of damage of those hits, but that's not a big deal. We are mitigating quite a bit. And then I'm using this mastery here to have a 2% chance to block that spell damage. As you can see, I currently have over 7,000 life combined with energy shield. I'm also using both anomalous sigil power and divergent frost shield, which is a lot more less damage taken, which just makes it, while standing in here, and especially if my molten shield is up, I am effectively immortal against hits at least. And then an extra cool little thing that I have here is this actually dropped when I fought Eater of Worlds last night, is the Inextricable Fate. Inextricable. These are a cool pair of fugitive boots that give me some chaos res, which is great. 100 life, they actually dropped like this. I did not divine them. And up to 50% reduced extra damage from critical strikes by poisoned enemies. Now you might be saying, well, you're not poisoning by default. However, all damage inflicts poison against enemies affected by at least 3 grasping vines. Nearby stationary enemies, which is basically any enemy that's hitting you, will get a grasping vine every 0.5 seconds. So as long as an enemy is near you for 1.5 seconds, they will have enough grasping vines on them that you will poison them, and you take up to 50% reduced extra damage from crits from them. On top of that is I have the additional 30% reduced here. So I am taking 70% reduced extra damage from crits from enemies as long as I'm able to poison them first. And that does a great job of mitigating any spiky damage that might come my way. The downside is when I do get crit, I will gain 3 grasping vines, but you can just shrug those off with a flame dash now. They did make that a lot nicer, so it's not too bad. I did miss some more flat damage. I picked this up for just 2 divines yesterday, an additional 8% physical damage reduction, and another 1,000 armor right here. In addition to that, I'm also using Enduring Cry, which, while Enduring Cry is active, your endurance charges will give you an additional 2% physical damage reduction. So that will give me 4 times 3, 12 additional flat damage reduction. Needless to say, I am stacking a ton of flat damage reduction so that even though my armor isn't particularly high, I am mitigating so much flat damage that it's actually going to do a lot more work than it might look like. Long-term goal would be to switch over to this type of shield, which would give me +2 all res, recover life on block, and a ton more life. And the cool thing here is we can get increased damage per chance to block attack damage. Currently, I'm using +1 level of all lightning spell skill gems to give me a little bit more damage. But when I checked in PoB, this gave me almost the exact, very, very close to the exact same amount of damage on my character. So that can make up for it. So I can go for a pure strength armor shield and get a lot more defense that way as well. I just wanted to quickly go over the defenses that I put together in the past 24 hours. I'm really proud of them, and I think it's a cool example of a way that you can build a character in a little bit different way, especially with a lot of people self-casting right now. You know, a lot of people are standing still and just spamming their lightning conduit. You can take advantage of a lot of these things like Arctic Armor or Soul of Tukohama and get a lot of flat physical damage reduction, which is usually the weak point for a witch. So yeah, hopefully gave you guys some food for thought. Crossing my fingers, I still feel well enough to stream in a little bit after I edit this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Goodbye.